Welcome to another edition of Islanders Insider, as we come to you from the locker room again today here on the campus of Texas A&M University Corpus Christi. I'm Stephen King. We're going to talk some Islanders hoops with head coaches Willis Wilson and Royce Chadwick, and we also got a special feature looking back on the Southland Conference basketball tournament. Right now, we're going to start things off though with the head coach of Islander men's hoops, Coach Willis Wilson. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Well, doing okay. Doing okay, as a matter of fact. The Southland Conference tournament has come and gone, and each time your team hit the floor, they were in a knockdown, drag-out battle. No doubt about it. You finished 1-1 in the tournament, falling in the semifinals once again this year to Sam Houston State. You have accepted an invitation to the College Insider Tournament and will continue competition this week. We'll talk more about that in just a few moments, but I do want to look back at the Southland Conference Tournament for a moment. Now, do you feel that your draw was as tough as it could be, considering the matchups you had, New Orleans and Sam Houston State?
You know, honestly, I don't think there was any easy draws in this tournament. The bottom half of our league has improved considerably, let alone the middle, which were the teams 5 through 8 that made it into the conference tournament. I just thought it was a competitively balanced tournament. I think only one of the games really was maybe a little bit one-sided when you go back and look at it. But you know, for us, we've played knockdown, drag-out games night in and night out. We've had very few games this year in conference play where the margin of victory was really significant. We did close the season really strong against Abilene Christian, but those games in the tournament were exactly what we expected. Obviously, we're incredibly disappointed that we let one get away against Sam Houston State, but you got to give them credit. They finished second in the league, and they did a nice job all year long.
Against New Orleans, our first-round opponent, actually the quarterfinal opponent, we lost the battle of the boards and did not particularly shoot very well. Was the saving grace the fact that we just really did a great job taking care of the basketball?
Well, I think it was twofold. I think we did a good job of taking care of the basketball, but I thought our defense was very, very good. We've become a really stellar defensive team the last quarter of this season. I think that's been partly attributed to the fact that we've been able to spend more time on the floor in real-life practice situations, preparing. We've been able to improve the depth on our bench a little bit, and I think those things have made a world of difference. But when you take care of the basketball, it just means you're going to have more opportunities. And we've done a pretty solid job of that also in this latter part of the season. But the thing that stands out to me the most, in fact, in both games, was just the stellar job that our guys did defensively.
I understand now. That win set up the rematch with Sam Houston State, a team that we did split with during the regular season. After the first half, you had an 8-point lead and had to be quite pleased holding their solid offense to 20% shooting. This goes back to what you're talking about, the defensive effort. Was the game plan being executed the way you drew it up at that point?
I think so. I think we emotionally got maybe a little bit too caught up in the game. But in terms of our execution and the way we want to play and in that particular moment, I thought our guys were doing a very, very good job in spite of some of the circumstances surrounding the situation. The fact of the matter is, when we got into that second half, we just didn't settle ourselves down the way we needed to. Against New Orleans the night before, I think our recoveries were a little bit quicker. Against Sam Houston State, especially late in the game, they had one series that I really think just kind of turned the tide on us, and really tough to get a timeout during that stretch or to get subs in during that stretch. And again, you got to give Sam Houston State credit because they took advantage of it. I thought one thing that really stood out in my mind in that second half against Sam Houston State was the fact that we had about 3 consecutive possessions where our defense was just the best you could imagine, and we didn't rebound the basketball, and they made us pay for it.
Oh, I understand that. Now, in the second half, you had the lead for everything except, I guess, the final 2 minutes. What ultimately did we do to open the door for them?
Well,
was it the boards?
Well, some of it we call it atomic bombs. When you take a bad shot or a turnover,
okay,
those are tough situations to defend. And for Sam Houston State, when the big guy came back in, that was just an added weapon on the offensive glass. And so some of those untimely shots that we had and a turnover here or there in that period just they were costly, and I think the other factor was we missed some really good looks. You go back and look at the film. We had a couple opportunities that we just didn't take advantage of. A couple that were point blank at the rim, and that's kind of been a nemesis in our loss, where we've just missed shots that you're supposed to make. And then, from the outside, those are shots that some go, some don't. But we didn't shoot the ball particularly well down the stretch of the season.
You talked about the big fella, Michael Holofield, for the Bearcats. Rebounding seemed to be the one thing keeping them in at halftime, especially 10 first-half boards by Holofield. He finished with 12 points, 14 boards. Why is he? Is it just strictly because of his size? Why is he such a difficult matchup for us? Because if you look back at the season, all 3 games, he's been such a challenge.
Well, and he's doing it in limited minutes. That's the thing that's been impressive about him. But the fact of the matter is he's learned how to play with a motor. He wasn't a guy that was very aggressive. In fact, most would have called him timid as a freshman. But he's really grown into his body emotionally and physically, and he plays with a motor. He's very aggressive. You touched on the rebounding, but he had 9 offensive rebounds in the first half, and that is a big, big deal for one man to be able to dominate the glass the way he did. And we just didn't have an answer for him. That's something that we're going to have to work on and figure out going forward.
Now, John Jordan, your senior point guard, had an excellent tournament. 21 points, 4.5 boards, 3 steals, 2 turnovers per game. All of that with only the 2 turnovers. Throughout the tournament and the season, he has tried to put the team on his back in tough situations. There's no doubt. Now, did you ever have any qualms to let him do his thing, especially in those final moments?
No, I mean it's a player's game, and when you get into the situation that we're in, you got to let your best players give them the freedom to make some plays. There's some things that maybe John would have chosen to do different down the stretch. Maybe some things that I would have chosen to do a little different in some of those situations. But I don't have any regrets. And when you have a player like John, he's come through for us so many times, and so you have to give guys like that the freedom and the flexibility to use their talent and use their decision making to impact the game.
That is so true. Well, the tournament is behind us now. And when you do move forward, and as much pain as they were in at the end of that game, they weren't at the end of the rainbow yet. The season is not over. Postseason play continues with the invitation to the College Insiders Tournament, more well known as the CIT. Your draw starts out with the media darling over the last couple of seasons, Florida Gulf Coast. Now, this is an explosive team that refers to their home court as Dunk City. What do we know about them?
Well, first and foremost, and I'm just kind of compelled to say this, I came here to build this program into a mid-major breakthrough, and we want to be in the NCAA tournament, and that's our goal. That said, I can't say how proud I am of our guys and the turnaround that we've had. And this is a substantial opportunity for the players in this program that earn the right to be in postseason. And it's a substantial opportunity for our program, the growth to be able to go to postseason back-to-back. And then to have to go to Florida Gulf Coast, who I think in a lot of respects, this may be the most challenging game of this tournament for us. And I say that in 2 respects, as you pointed out. They're a very talented team. They're kind of the media darlings, very athletic team. They like to get up and down the floor. Dunk City, so that tells you right there that they want to play an explosive style of basketball. They draw extremely well, so we expect a capacity crowd. So when you combine all those things, this is going to be a challenging game for us to go on the road and have to play. But I think the good news is, should we win, we come back home and play a game here on Monday the 23rd, which means that we've got an opportunity to really go some distance in this tournament and maybe even win it if things can fall the right way. And so we've got to lock in and have the sort of focus that we're playing a Stephen F. Austin, we're playing a Sam Houston State, we're playing in New Orleans. It's going to be a dogfight, but it's only going to be a dogfight if we bring our best game. Comer, the little point guard that's kind of the straw that stirs their drink, is just a fabulous player. Can hurt you in so many ways. A lot like John Jordan in the sense that he's very much a pass-first guy, but can also hurt you with his offensive shot. So should be an exciting game. We're really looking forward to the opportunity.
We're looking forward to catching it as well, Coach. Best of luck moving forward. Let's hope we have a nice run here in the CIT. Again, good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll look at the Southland Conference Basketball Tournament. More to come on Islanders Insider.
The Southland Conference is 4,200 student athletes from 13 member institutions, competing in 17 NCAA Division I sports. We are Southland Strong.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, let's take a look back at the Southland Conference basketball tournament.
You know what? I'm just really glad that we don't have to play them again. I mean, 3 games and it just seemed like 3 battle royals. I could not be more impressed with UNO's level of intensity and just commitment and focus. And that being said, I was really proud of our guys just fighting back. It was a period there in the second half where we just weren't ourselves. We really got out of sorts a little bit, and the guys were just able to refocus on the things that we do and really just dialed in on trying to execute those things and doing them well. It really paid off for us from that point forward.
I mean, they're a tough team. They're well coached, and they have good size, and they can match up with us well, and they have good perimeters and a good inside presence. So, I mean, and they play well and they shoot the ball well, and they're relentless going to the goal. So, that's part of what makes them a tough matchup for us.
Well, it's all of that. That's why you call it madness. In the locker room, you're disappointed. You know you won't get to coach Olivia Foudy anymore. You know that every one of those players left everything out there on the court trying to win a basketball game. It's tough.
Well, this hurts, obviously. That this game was supposed to be ours, and I feel like we kind of got it stolen from us. But hats off to them. They played their hearts out, and I thought we did too. It's just, they scored one more point than us, so it's definitely tough.
Well, it's, this time of year, the way our league is going and the games that we've played in, going back a month, every game's been a dogfight for the most part. Didn't expect anything less tonight. We knew that it was going to boil down to just some little things, and I think it was one of those situations where the runs kind of hit us at the wrong time in terms of just the timing at the end of the ball game. I don't think there's any question that we had another run in us, but we didn't get an opportunity to make that run. There's some little things that we've got to be better at. We've got to become a better free throw shooting team, and we got to rebound the ball better. I mean, those 2 areas were significant tonight, especially when it came to Michael Holyfield.
I mean, like you said, they were just keeping me off balance by changing up their defenses and changing up their personnel on me. And so I think they did a good job defensively, and obviously I feel like I could have made a couple more better plays down the stretch of the game, but I didn't. And that's probably the difference in the game.
GoIslanders.com is your source for Texas A&M Corpus Christi athletics. From live stats to live video to all the latest news, GoIslanders.com has everything to keep you up to date on all the latest on your favorite Islanders team. On the road, the Islanders Front Row app brings you live stats, video, and news right on your mobile device. Check out Islanders schedules and statistics and learn more about the student athletes at the Island University. Get tickets, Islanders game day gear, and more by clicking your way to GoIslanders.com today. Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, we're going to talk some Islanders women's basketball with the head coach of the program, Coach Royce Chadwick. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, Stephen.
Well, the Islanders women took the court in Katy for the Southland Conference tournament and unfortunately had our second worst shooting night of the season in a 49-48 loss to Houston Baptist in the quarterfinals. Now, even shooting the ball so poorly, it came down ultimately to the final seconds to determine who was the winner of this contest. Maybe with a friendlier rim in the final moments, we would have an entirely different conversation right now.
Well, it is what it is. It's March, and it's a March Madness, and there are some crazy things that happen in games. There are bad shooting nights that you have to fight through defensively. what you hope as a team and a coach is the 29 games and the exhibition games and all the practices that you had during the year, you use that information so when you get in this game, you know how to handle it. You hope you have a bad shooting night during the year so your defense has to carry you. You hope that you have opportunities that you have to finish in the last 2 minutes that carry you through. And we had our opportunities in this game. Fortunately, we put ourselves in position to win it. Unfortunately for us, we were unable to get over the hump. So HBU gets to go on and survive another night. But it's a tough way to lose. It weighs on you. Time heals it, because I've been put out of the tournament before, and you feel better in a couple of weeks. You feel a lot better in a couple of months because you look at your body of work. But right now we're dwelling on nothing but the last 2 minutes of that game, and it really, really hurts.
Oh, I know. I know Shea Weaver has been your go-to gal this season. There's no doubt she had a difficult night, hitting only 1 field goal, 0 for 5 from three-point range along the way. I understand she had an ear infection going into the game. That can easily mess with your equilibrium. Did that contribute to her shooting woes?
Well, you know, we could line up, you know, it was a little dark, you know, in the stands, and we didn't, you know, get the right food. There are no excuses. You've got to go and play. What you hope happens, you were a little sick during the course of the year and you had to fight through it so you know how to do it. I thought her defense was spectacular. I thought she did a lot of things, getting on the boards, playing as hard as she could play. Shots weren't falling, but, you know, that happens and you have to fight through it. And I don't think that she would say, well, that had anything to do with the way that I played, although it might. But you have to play, you know, and that's why some teams come home and others progress. You fight through the tough times to win a basketball game, and we were, you know, right at the lip of the cup. We just couldn't get it to fall in.
You know, we out-rebounded the opponent. We had only 11 turnovers on the game, and in reality, we had our chances in the end to overcome the shooting. But we had a couple chippies to put us over the top in those final seconds. They just didn't fall either, though. I mean, at one point, did you just think there was a lid up there? I mean, what was going on?
Well, you know, during the course of the year, we have gone long stretches without a field goal. I mean, we've gone 8, 9, 10, 12 minutes without a field goal, and we learned through that your defense has to carry you. Our defense was carrying us while we were waiting for the opportunity for us to get back in the game. Kamisha's 3 off the glass ended the streak of about 8 or 9 minutes that we hadn't scored. Then we got going a little bit. But you don't want to put yourself in a situation where one shot makes a difference in whether you continue to play or not. Unfortunately for us, you know, we clawed back in it and we had opportunities. But you look back at, we went to the free throw line, missed 2 free throws. Those are huge. We go on the other end and they get an offensive rebound, and they had way too many offensive rebounds. The way HBU beat you is offensive rebounds and points in the paint. They got both of those. We needed to cut out one or the other. So one block out here, one non-rotation there, a couple of free throws here. It's a different situation, a different story for us, but we didn't make those plays, so we come home. And we try to harp on our players all year long. You can send us home with one not blocking out. That's why you got to block out every single time. And hopefully we learned a tremendous lesson.
Now you're losing, as you mentioned, just one senior in Olivia Foudy. Now she came in this year as a graduate student transfer. Looking back, can you describe her impact on and off the floor for your team this year, and could you have gone this far without her?
Well, no, I think it's tremendous. I don't think we could have gone this far without Shelby Mescal. I don't think we could have gone this far without Emery Archer. I don't think there's a player in that locker room that we would have had the winning season that we had if we did not have them. Everybody made a contribution. Olivia made a tremendous contribution. Our whole goal for her when she came here was, this will be the best year that you've ever had in your career. And I believe we reached that goal. I think this was Olivia's finest hour as a basketball player. She was a great leader for our team, did a tremendous job for us. And we were very excited that she had the kind of year that she had, and that our team, you know, I think when we look back in July, we'll say that was a good year, and she was a huge part of it.
12 double-doubles on the year, very hard to replace. Who are you going to challenge to step up to be that double-double machine next year?
Well, the locker room. You know, everybody has to
gotta
make a contribution. We have 2 girls sitting out, in Brittany Bomaloo and Shola Adebayo. Both those girls are, I think, very excited about the opportunity that they're eligible for the next game now. And so things change. We will be in the weight room a week from Tuesday, and we got shoved around by HBU. They were stronger than us, they were more physical than us, and you have to get in that weight room so that 12 months from this day, you're still playing. And we have to buy into getting in the weight room. I believe we're one of the weakest teams in the league right now, and we have to change that. We have to buy in and make that a reality. So we've got a lot of work to do.
Well, next year you have an opportunity to get the two-headed monster back out there with Brittany Bomaloo and Shea Weaver, and possibly even a three-headed monster from the three-point line if Cassie Jones continues to shoot with the confidence that she showed late in the year. I mean, what type of team would you be? What would people have to contend with if you have those capabilities?
Well, if everybody maximizes their potential, we have a team that can do anything we want to do. I mean, it's a team that if everybody's healthy and everybody plays to their potential, we can have the best team that we've had since I've been here. The problem is getting them to that point, keeping them healthy. You don't want to have any casualties. You don't want anybody to be academically a casualty. There are a lot of things that have to fall in place, and it's hard work. And it starts March the 24th for us to be ready for March the 24th in 2016. And that's the message for our team. We'll have 5 seniors next year, something we haven't had in my tenure here. You go as far as your seniors carry you generally in March, and we're going to have a house full of them, and the challenge is on.
Well, next year comes up very soon, as you said, with the weight room in 1 week.
Absolutely. Here we go.
Coach, good luck.
Thank you.
Royce Chadwick joining us once again here in the locker room. When we come back, we'll bring you up to speed on what's next for Islanders Athletics. More to come on Islanders Insider.
Healthcare never sleeps. It's constantly changing. Hello. It's not a desk job. I'm on my feet all day.
This is Trevor 3 East.
I'm Trevor Bonzer, and I'm a nurse manager at Christus Spawn Shoreline. The faculty at A&M Corpus Christi, you see the passion in their teaching. They will challenge you, and they will motivate you. They want you to succeed.
Named a top Texas university for return on investment. Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Discover your island. Visit us for Island Day at islandday.tamucc.edu.
Welcome back to Islanders Insider. At this time, let's bring you up to speed on what the Islanders are up to next. Should the Islanders men's basketball team defeat Florida Gulf Coast in the opening round of the College Insider Tournament, they will play at home at the American Bank Center on Monday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. with the opponent to be determined. Islander baseball will be heading back to Chapman Field on Friday the 20th as they take on Southeastern Louisiana, starting a 3-game series on that Friday evening at 6 o'clock. Saturday they'll play at 3 and Sunday at 1. Islander softball will continue Southland Conference play as they travel to Nichols. They'll start things off on Friday at 6 o'clock, followed by a doubleheader starting Saturday at noon. And then it's off to Houston to play a doubleheader on Wednesday, March 25th. That non-conference matchup starts at 4 p.m. Men's and women's tennis will be on a road swing starting on Sunday, March 22nd, as the men will travel to Southern Miss for a 1 o'clock start time. On Monday the 23rd, the women will be at Southeastern Louisiana for a Southland Conference matchup at 1 o'clock. And on Tuesday, March 24th, both teams will be on hand as they take on New Orleans, that match starting at 1 o'clock. Islander track and field will be at UTSA on Friday, March 20th and Saturday, March 21st for the UTSA meet. And then on Wednesday, March 25th through Friday, March 27th, it'll be the Texas Relays in Austin. Islanders women's golf will be heading to Orlando, Florida to participate in the shootout at Shingle Creek. That's Friday, March 20th through Sunday, March 22nd. Once again, we want to thank Royce Chadwick and Willis Wilson for joining us here in the locker room talking hoops. More importantly, we want to thank you for tuning in once again. For everyone here, I'm Stephen King. This has been Islanders Insider.